I've just been looking through the video and I don't think I actually spoke about how the session went. So I'm gonna do that now after the exercise, after the skipping rope you see me do. So I plan to only do 5 reps, but I did a lot more than that. So yeah, I just wanted you guys to be aware of that. Not only that, but even yesterday when I was going for a walk and I was just running around, just enjoying life, my knees felt heavy, and my knees would hurt a bit as I was jogging about. Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys be aware of that. Just please, even if it's a little something, just one thing, even if it's 1 rep, 1 push-up rep, do something. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys be aware of that. My legs felt very heavy, heavier than usual. Particularly my knees felt very heavy as I was skipping rope. But even though that was the case, I did more than 5 reps as planned. Bottom of the video. Also, for future reference, mate, if you're finding it difficult to edit, especially on a hot day like this where you're overheating, maybe the phone's overheating as well. Now that I'm filming in here, it's fine. It's very smooth. But just use your head. If it's extremely hot, maybe if your face is completely sweating, your back's completely sweating, think about what the phone's going through as you're trying to make it go through the editing process, as you're trying to go through the editing process on this. So please use your head. Oh, and also one thing. This is a serious video that addresses some racist experience that I've gone through, and there are some racist words that I say in here. So if you don't feel comfortable with that, then please click off. This is not the one for you. The serious talk happens at around 1 hour, 7 seconds mark. If you don't want to hear talk about racism or racist words, please click off. But yeah, that's me signing out. Peace. And when I say these racist words, I don't mean them to harm anyone. I just want to make that very clear. I also want to make it very clear that I do not condone racism, regardless of what race, even if it's the same race. For example, black on black, black people calling other black people monkeys, apes, gorillas, niggers. I don't condone that shit. Even though, as I address, in the past I did, but I stopped thinking that way after me hearing in the skate park calling the N-word, and I thought, I don't want someone to even potentially be aiming racism at me, so I wouldn't even be racist to another black person. Some people may say that you can't be racist to someone that's of your own race, but I disagree. You can just you absolutely can use the derogatory terms and address people in that way unironically and seriously. You absolutely can. But because it's the same race, you'd more likely be able to get away with it. Haha, it's funny, it's a joke. It's the same race, so it's fine. No, it's not. It really isn't. Even though people have their own things that they have to work through, and what I'm about to ask is unrealistic. In my head, I've just been thinking, why can't we just all get along? No racism within the same race, like black on black. I keep on using that example because even in music videos, movies, like American movies, even English hood movies, it's been made to seem okay, like it's commonplace for the black person to call themselves niggers. No, I don't really hear any other race doing that. But It seems like for black people, that's what's going on. And I just want to make that very clear. That racist terms are used. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, I'd advise you click off. But anyway, that's me signing out. I just wanted to give a disclaimer to let everyone know. All right, now that the disclaimer's over and done with, on with the rest of the video. I can tell you now from personal experience, before I do show you the rest of the video, that when you make the art of transforming your life a daily habit, you absolutely will change. Trust me, you will change in a way you want. However you want that to be, you will change. Right, this is the editing Mr. Planking Journey / Monsieur out, signing out. Peace. On with the rest of the video now. Here we are back in the car. Man, I've been feeling rather dehydrated. And this, imagine, can you really see it? Yeah, you can. If I show it like this, hold on a sec. I came in this car with a full bottle of water. After one drink, this is where we're at. Slightly over 100 milliliters, when this is around, I'd say, a 700 milliliter bottle. I drank over half a liter, just like that, in one go, because I've been feeling that dehydrated. I could finish this off right now. That wasn't even a whole gulp. Yeah, it's very important to stay feeling hydrated. If you go back to the clips of me exercising, you can tell that something's up just by the expression on my face, which I didn't even think of at the time. But you could tell by the expression on my face that something's up. I did have a hot shower, so it could have been that. The laptop broke today as well. I think I broke it as I was trying to fit the SD card that was in the camera that my dad gave me it within the computer instead of in a SD card slot. He showed me how to actually work it. And then as we were doing that, the front, as you've seen in the thumbnail, the front of the laptop actually started to come off as he was just, I think it was just as he was closing it or something. I feel more motivated than ever to just get a fucking new one. Just get a new one. Just get a new running laptop. Because he said, he was basically saying, it's so valuable because it costs £1,000. Like Elon Musk said, there is no shortage of money. That is not a big deal. Just get a new one. And he was trying to tell me the other laptop that he gave me is less valuable than the one that you're seeing in the thumbnail, even though I know from personal experience that the other one, which he said is less valuable, runs faster, regardless of the specs and the stats that he was trying to bring up on me. I was going to say I may come off as someone who feels very ungrateful for these sorts of things, and then I was going to say no, that's not the case. But you know what? I'm actually going to say I might just be, because I didn't earn them. And that's been something that I've been wanting to do for a while. It's about time I go and earn my keep, especially with my belongings that I have. Go get myself new clothes. Just stop using everything that my dad gave me and replace them with my own new things that I bought. And then be able to go from there. Yeah, I was originally going to say, oh, well, I do feel grateful for these things. No, I don't. Let's not try and lie to myself. I can't lie to myself here. If I did, I'd probably smile when looking at it from time to time. I may write about it from time to time. No, I don't think about it that much. I'd much rather be outside in nature. That's That is something that I genuinely feel grateful for. Not something that I'm trying to force and say, oh yeah, I do feel grateful for it regardless of how it sounds. No, I don't. I don't feel grateful for what my dad's given me because I haven't earned them. I haven't earned my keep with getting these laptops that he's given me. I haven't done anything. He was telling me, oh, it's cost £1,000. I could earn 10 million. I could earn 10 million. Maybe not today. Maybe not right now. Even if it were through illegal means, I wouldn't be able to do that right now. Not that I would go to illegal means to earn money. I'm not saying that, but hypothetically speaking, is it possible for me to get £10 million today in the bank account? Yeah, it is. But would I want that? Hell fucking no. No, I wouldn't want $10 million right, not dollars, sorry, pounds. I wouldn't want £10 million right here, right now. I wouldn't be in the mindset to be able to handle that. So it's not only making me more money, but I'm actually not, I'm not just spending it. No. I think if I were to get £10 million right here, right now, things would start to get very brash. I'd start making very, very quick decisions like that, which haven't been thought through. No, I need to earn my keep. Just like with all of the clothes, instead of wearing hand-me-downs from time to time, they're the odd clothes here and there that I bought, but most of what I wear, my dad actually gave me. Like this vest, for example. I think it's an old school vest from the mid-2000s or something. It's been kept in very, very, I want to say pristine. That's the word I'm coming up for. Yeah. It's been taken care of, basically. This vest that my dad's given me, yeah, it's been taken care of and it's lasted this time. If it's as old as I think it is, like mid-2000s or something. It reminds me of something. It reminds me of someone else who wore a similar vest like this. I'm not going to explain, but you might know what I'm talking about. You might not. If you do, you do. If you don't, that's more than fine. Ignorance in this case is bliss, for reasons I'm not going to explain. I need to shave. Anyway. Yeah, so we were talking about this laptop, yeah. I just want a new one. My dad was there in the front with me as he was trying to program this SD card thing. He was teaching me how to actually use it properly. You can't just slot the card in and out. That's not how it works. If you just slot the card in and out, you won't be able to actually get the SD card files on the computer if you were to put it back in the second time. What you've got to do is you've got to slot it in, and then when you want to take it out, you just slot it in normally. You just put it in there, yeah. And then when you want to take it out, you've got to go to your file explorer to be able to right click on. You have to right up when you go on the file explorer. You have to right click and you have to press eject, and then you can remove the SD card. And then the next time you slot the SD card in, it will register. The computer will register that it's there. Whereas if you just slot it in and out and then put it back in again, it wouldn't register. It would register the first time, but not the second time. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. So the front of the computer is broken. I was thinking of asking my sister if I could use one of her bigger computers, but I thought, you know what, no. My dad has got another bigger computer that I could use, that he's allowed all of us to use. So I might just use that, and it's downstairs, so it's not like I'd be in the bedroom just doing God knows what. When I say that, I'm not implying, I'm watching porn or I'm watching people get shot and stabbed or anything like that. No, I'm referring to the fact that I was just listening to the intro and outro of Future Future's track Mask Off. I was listening to that because I was thinking of making my own instrumental off that sample that he made, because I really like the intro and the intro and the outro. But I've decided I'm not gonna listen to that, because the intro of the actual tune, and not tune, I'll call it song. I've decided that I'm calling tunes songs that I like. No, I really do like the instrumental, but I don't like the message the lyrics convey, and that the intro before the song plays is just chaos. It's straight up just chaos. There are gunshots everywhere. I think there's like a robbery's going on at the start or something. I don't want that. I don't want to be thinking of that. I dreamt of that shit after listening to it. I downloaded it off YouTube to be able to play it on FL Studio. Oh, naughty. And yeah, I had a thought in my mind of the drum pattern that I put down and how the bass line would go. But with what I have, I don't think I can. Can I make what I'm thinking of in my mind? Yes, but not with the tools I have. I don't think I can. Not with the tools I have, but I can if I go out and go search for the tools. My musical ability was much higher than it was much higher in the past than it is now, I'd say. But with consistency, that will change. It seems like, even though my dad was saying that he was feeling unhappy, he didn't say it with that those words. What did he? I've forgotten. He's basically said, "Oh, you've broken this one, you've broken that one." Yeah, I have, and what? Shit happens. Life goes on. It's not like I can't buy a new one. Like Elon Musk said, there is no shortage of money. Money's on its way to come in. It's every single day, every single day, bit by bit and piece by piece, it's on its way. And you know what? Actually, I said that was the case with views and subscribers, and now look, I got 6. Sorry, not I. This channel. I have to correct myself when I say that, because it's the channel. It's not me. The channel has 6 subscribers now, and the protein shake almost ready video is basically, it's nearly got 500. This video blew up. Pardon me. That video blew up. Oh, you can really see my ingrown hairs here, look. Anyway, no more sidetracking. That video blew up a lot more than the Plank Day If I've Noticed 6 video did. And again, that lesson that I learned from how that video went in terms of view count has repeated itself. When something is getting pushed out there by the algorithm, that it's got to be that same video that gets pushed out there over and over and over and over again. Kind of strange to me though, because when I did go on video analytics, although I have said I don't want to, I did, just so that I could take advantage of the fact that it was really blowing, so more people could see, so it'd be more likely more people come and see the other longer videos that I've made. I did go and look at video analytics. Yeah. Yeah, that one. Genuinely, I really think it's absolutely more than possible for it to get 500. It genuinely could get 1,000, but more realistically, I think it could end up anywhere near 750 it could die down at around 750 and then stay at that level. Then from there, that would mean there's been an extremely large spike in views for this channel, which would increase the likelihood that more people see not only the movement but the longer videos that I make on this channel. That's important to me, because then that means the message that I'm trying to provide to people out there is becoming more and more known. The self-improvement movement instead of the self-improvement movement. People could be on this if they want to. They could be on the self-improvement movement if they want to. But for me, self-improvement is the way. I know it's working for me, so that's what I'm going to keep on doing. I've worded it in my own way, and it has a lot of meaning to me, self-improvement, than self-improvement does. Self-improvement has a lot more meaning to me than self-improvement does. I could define self-improvement very generally if you were to ask me. It's about improving yourself. It's rather self-explanatory. So you work on every single aspect of your life, bit by bit, day by day. Some people they may not be as serious about it as others. They say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then they don't. Even in this movement, that may be the case, but for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's a priority that I make that as minimal as possible. That if I say I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, then that means I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And when you go and do these things, you have to show proof. If you were to ask me about self-improvement, however, I give you a very detailed explanation as to what that is. I did in the channel trailer, but right here, right now, I'd be able to do that with ease. Self-improvement is not only about taking action, but it's about showing proof for what you've done over the days, and that you're working towards something every single day. That's one of the main rules, in fact. You have to have some sort of hobby, whether that's exercise or reading or cubing, whatever that is, which you're doing every single day. And you're releasing thoughts that are on your mind about what fears you want to work through and what aims you have in mind that you want to achieve. You have to do this every single day. That's one of the main rules of self-improvement. People may say that that's the case in self-improvement as well, but I'm not sure if it's as important to people that are on self-improvement than it is self-improvement. That the fact you absolutely must be working on something every single day. If you're severely injured, then okay, fair enough. But if you can, for example, if it's like a spine injury, you fucked up your spine and you're in hospital, if you can release your thoughts, then I'd say go for it. But if you really believe that recovery is much more of a priority than getting any videos out because you've been that traumatized, both physically and mentally, due to an event, then fair enough, you don't have to. But if, for example, let's say you sprain your ankle, you've hurt your ankle, you've broken your toe. No. Okay. Release your thoughts out there at least. You don't have to necessarily exercise. You don't necessarily have to train if you don't want to. At the end of the day, it's up to you. But one of the rules is if it's something minor like that, yeah, just very generally speaking, if it's something minor that's happened, you've experienced a very minor setback, and it doesn't stop you from video editing. For example, it's not like the phone, you no longer have any access to record videos. Or another example would be if you don't have internet at home, then fair enough. Fair enough if you can't upload videos. If that were the case, and say for example you're moving to a new place, regardless of how old you are, and regardless of if you're doing it for the first or second time, or however many times, I'd say for that in particular, I would say make the effort to make very short videos, maybe for about 1 to 2 months in advance. 1 to 2 months in advance worth of videos. You could just, for me, in my case in particular, seeing as this channel's main exercise is about planking, I do just 30-second planks, just over and over and over again, and then I'd schedule them. Not schedule, we're not American. Schedule them. I probably will say schedule in the future sometime later. Nah, big deal. You gotta schedule them so that they come out. That's what I do. The reason why I do this is so that the streak can keep running. Even though I may not be doing the exercise, it's still, in my mind, I was going to say a daily grind, but I don't see it as grinding anymore. It's just a daily habit. To keep that daily habit streak going, I'll schedule the videos so that they can come out one day at a time as I get myself sorted. If I need to, I may need to actually do 3 months worth of 30-second planks to get shit together. I mean, so I have enough time. No, I've set aside enough time. We always have enough time. We've set aside enough time to be able to get shit together and keep the streak going. Because 2 months may not be enough. Might be, it might not be. Okay. The reason why I've just been pausing right now is just because there's something that's been on my mind after just speaking with my dad that I'm not going to release on the internet. But anyway, let's go back to the other thing that I wanted to talk about today. So with the laptop, I may just go and get a new one. I don't really see the value in it, especially seeing as I haven't earned it. I haven't spent any, I haven't gone and done what it takes to go get that money to be able to pay for it. So I don't really see the value in going to get a computer that I know, in my opinion, runs slow. I'm trying to run DaVinci Resolve, for fuck's sake. Have I gone and told him this? No. Because that would mean that I'm making videos. That would mean that I'm making videos and then he'd try and question what's going on. Why am I making videos? When he saw my computer, he looked at my account name and questioned me on that and said, you don't need to know that. I joked around with him at first saying that it was the name that he gave me. It obviously wasn't. But yeah, he doesn't need to know every single, just like how my mum doesn't need to know every single thing about what I've gone and done, why this is this way when it's my thing. For example, in my case, the account name on my computer. It's not, he doesn't need to know. That's not his business as far as I'm concerned. It's just it's something that means something to me. It was meaningful to me when I made it, and hence, yeah, he just doesn't need to know. Seems like, with the way how I've just been speaking about it now, that I could be, without even realizing it, backing out of actually explaining why. It's just one of the very small things I did for me to actually get to this point. A piece of advice that I heard from Affy Kingdom, where you give yourself subliminal messages through certain things you do so that you actually go further in the direction that you want to go in life. That was a part of it. But I've done this with other things as well. But yeah. So I've spoken about the broken laptop. I just want to go get a new one. Now I want to speak about Lola again. I remember her saying, this is only going to be like a quick couple seconds. I remember her saying, oh, why are you going a long way, like? She doesn't actually speak like that. She does not speak like that at all, but that is what I'm providing, to be honest. That's what I'm providing. So she was saying, oh my god, like, oh, why are you going a long way? I smiled and I gave a shrug, and then I walked off. I didn't actually have an answer, that was why. And then later on down the walk, I thought, oh, it's how I have it, that's all. But yeah, I wasn't gonna go back and give her that answer. Fuck that. When I was making some food, I think it was when I was making dinner, or actually no, after I finished eating, and I was about to wash up and dry away, I was thinking, hold up a sec, was that a hint? Was that a hint that she wanted me to speak to her more, or in that case, she wanted to speak to me more? I used that wording. I've corrected my wording on purpose because she started the conversation and she was speaking to me. It wasn't the other way around. I was speaking because I was being spoken to. She saw me first. I was looking at her. I was thinking, I was just looking at her. What's the word? Not blindly. I wouldn't say I was quite confused. It was just, there was no conscious thought going on in my mind. Clueless, maybe. Because she was speaking. I didn't even know she was looking at me. I had to look to see that she was speaking. She was speaking to me. I had to look to see that she was speaking to me. And then, even past that point when I started looking at her, I was still clueless. I wasn't even thinking. I was still clueless because I didn't know who it was until after a few seconds it digested in my mind, and then I realized, I figured out that it was Lola. What a name I've given her, Lola. Yeah, I realized it was Lola. For a second there, it reminded me of Bully, the game Bully. She did not. Now that I think about it, when I remember images of her from video clips that's on YouTube of the game, she is not in any way, as far as I'm concerned, sexy. The way how she dresses, her attitude, the people that she hangs out with, just no. That is the ick. Again, I need to shave. I think that's the third time I've said that now. But that's the Lola thing done. We'll see how it goes. She seems like someone that could have something interesting about her. She wasn't acting like ick. When I spoke to her, maybe the first or the second time, rather recently, she wasn't acting like ick. Although she did give the typical female, the typical brain dead, I don't know, I feel like, oh, that sort of explanation. When I asked her why doesn't she like the look of her nose? I don't know, I feel like, Yeah, that sort of explanation. What is, as far as I'm concerned, I've made that a turn off. You can't even clearly explain yourself. How little do you have in your head? Not only that, but you put yourself in a position, actually no, regardless of whether you know, you've put yourself in a place where if someone asks you why, you haven't built up that skill to be able to formulate your opinions enough to the point where you can go and explain why without saying, I don't know, I feel like, oh. Does every single girl actually speak like that? No, of course not. But it's just me exaggerating. And I've been having thoughts, you know. In order for me to be further understood by girls / women, I've been thinking I might have to code switch. So I may be actually saying things like, oh my God, like, oh, that's not it for me. Just so that they can further understand what I'm saying and I speak in their language. Not only that, but like how Donovan Sharp has called it, I'd further understand womanese when I'm code switching. I know what certain things mean. Because it's basically well known that sometimes, or maybe even many times, regardless on what you define as some and many and few, girls may not actually say what they mean. So if I code switch and I actually understand the language, I'll be able to further understand them and their thought process, because I'd be understanding what I'd be able to translate what they're saying in my head. Just like with a foreign language. Sometimes for some people, for some guys, how women speak genuinely could be so confusing that it basically is. It's so different from the real thing in terms of what they mean by what they say that it could be a foreign language. You'd have to learn all of that over and over again. But yeah, I might just code switch. I dislike it when my dad would do that with different accents, for example. Like when he would speak in an African accent, but I know that he speaks to me in an English one. He's my dad. He is trilingual. And can he speak in an African accent? Yes. He could try and speak in a Jamaican accent. He could try, but I don't think it from personal experience of the blurry memories I have, it's not really all that. The African one, seeing as, well, I have Ghanaian heritage and he's from Ghana. Can he put on an African accent? Yeah, very well. My mum is too. It could still be anyone, so I don't think I actually mind saying that. There's still anonymity there, because how many people from Ghana? Come on, yeah. I don't mind saying that, because there's still a lot of anonymity there. It could be anyone. It could be anyone on the street. Yeah, okay. That's fine. But in my head I was thinking, is there anything else to say about Lola? No. But I did have another thought, impulsive thought that I'd get down here. But for context, I am a virgin. Okay. And for some reason, I just impulsively thought, you know what? On August the 28th, that is the day I'm going to lose it. I don't know why. I thought that. But I did. So I'm using this place to actually let that be known. I can understand why people want to lose their virginity. Or I can understand why I'd want to lose my virginity. I now understand that it's a hardwired need to want to pass our genes on by having sex. Having sex means children. That's what it's for anyway. It's just that pleasure is a byproduct. And strictly using sex for pleasure implies you can do
you can fulfill that hardwired need. So I can understand from that point of view that I'd want to. Not only that, but just like how I'm thinking of a Hamza video in particular. I don't remember what it was called. Not that it matters to me anymore. He's doing his thing, big fucking deal. I remember one video in particular where he was talking about peeling off the layers in a way to get to the core of what you truthfully want to do. So you go and do certain things. For example, you go through a dating phase just so that you can know that you know what you're doing as a part of the self-improvement movement, which I wouldn't actually say I'm a part of. But maybe he might be right. Do I know this from personal experience and therefore believe that this is the case? What he's saying is at least in a something that I agree with, not necessarily the truth, but something that I agree with. I don't know, because I haven't gone and done it, but it seems like every single day, bit by bit, that's on its way to becoming a reality. By even making videos about such things, like how I said, for some reason I in my head I impulsively thought the 28th of August is the date that I'm gonna lose the V card, like how many people thought of. But I was gonna say like how I Am Lucis says, but that's well known. The V card mantra is well known. It's just that he took it to the next level and made it a physical card. That's what he wants to do, and shout out to him for that, and showing it to other people, not only on the internet but in person, for the internet, by making videos on it, by making videos of him showing the V cards that he's made in person, and also online too, through I think like Omegle, for example, or something. I don't know, don't really care either. It's not my business. But I think, could this happen? No, but I'm thinking, could this happen? Yes, of course. It could happen anytime right now. Like, it could happen 6 hours from now. One girl sitting on my dick. It could. Would I want it to happen this early? No, hell no. I want to do my research about STDs and all that sort of things. I'd much rather be in a position where I know a lot more about the risks of having sex, how to put a condom on, because I still don't. There were sex education clubs back in my high school, which I didn't. There was the sex education, what do you call it? There's the sex education, like this seminar, sort of, like how you'd have assembly. There'd be those sorts of seminars, and then there was one time they came into one of the sixth form rooms. I went there and they were doing a tutorial on how to put a condom on. I didn't watch the tutorial. I didn't watch. And now I'm gonna have to go on the internet to go find out again, because I've done it before. I know I've done it before. I vividly remember myself doing it. I don't know when, but I vividly remember myself going onto Google to try and find that out. I remember the top search being like the dummy equivalent of a penis, and then there was the condom. Maybe it was on it, or maybe the person was just about to put it on. Now I don't remember, but very basically, I do a lot more research than I have done at the moment. I never got the sex talk, so I'm gonna have to go and find it myself. But to be fair on my parents, if, like how my sister said, and she's right, if they're just predominantly focused on just trying to survive, how would they, not necessarily, in my head I was going to say have the mental capacity, but no, that's not what I'm trying to say. How would they have it in their minds consciously to be able to think, oh, you know what, in the future, sooner or later, our son probably will have sex, maybe in the near future. I think, seeing as he's old, he's more than old enough, it's about time we give him the sex talk. Now, in their defense, I haven't gone and asked, but I'm not going to. I'll just go on the internet and do my own research. That'll be my equivalent of my parents giving me the sex talk. Am I still in a position where my parents are alive to this day and I can go and ask them? Of course. But I don't want relationship advice from them. Because I can hear them complain. I can hear them complain just about daily stuff and about each other. They've been in a marriage for a very long while. And I don't want advice from two people that could genuinely be in an unhappy relationship. The relationship that my mum and dad have, I don't want for myself and my partner or partners. I don't want that for myself for reasons. Am I going to mention? I already have, actually, to be fair. The complaining, the feeling ungrateful on a daily basis. Not only about just general life, but about each other. Saying, oh, you're this, you're that. No, I don't want that in a dating relationship. I'd rather it be healthy, where we're actually having a good time with each other and we're loving each other's company. Not necessarily obsessed, not obsessed with each other, no. But I mean, the relationship just generally is healthy. We take care of ourselves. We take care of ourselves on an individual basis, and we want to grow together as people, as a team, you could say. That's the sort of relationship that I prefer to have, because that's the relationship that I could use to help me grow as a person, just in all aspects of my life, which I wouldn't be able to have if I had a similar relationship that my parents had, where on a daily basis, as the individuals, they're complaining, and from time to time they do, just like maybe how every other couple who have been together for a very long time, decades, would complain about each other. It's just too long. It's just too long. How long they've spent with each other, in my opinion, for it to get to this point, and how they sometimes can speak to each other. I don't want that for myself, so I'm not going to go and ask for a talk from people who are in a relationship that I don't like the sound of, and I don't like the look of, from personal experience of me being on the outside of it, in the sense that I'm not dating my mum, nor am I dating my dad. That's what I mean. But I can hear them talk to each other. I can hear them complain about each other to each other, saying, oh, you're this, you're that, having arguments from time to time, just like how I think every other couple would, who have been in a long enough relationship for decades. I don't want that for myself, so I'm not going to go and ask. I'm not going to go and get the sex talk from them. I'm certainly not going to get dating advice from them, that's for sure. But I think I'm on my way to further becoming sexually attractive now that I'm eating more healthily. The reason why I say that's the case is because me eating more healthily consistently, which I'm now doing from now on, that's gonna make my jawline sharper. That's gonna make my abs show more. It's gonna look amazing, and I've just got to keep on doing it every single day. It being eating healthily, with the odd meal here and there that isn't so broccoli and cauliflower like, or doesn't have those sorts of things. Every now and then, that's more than okay. I don't mind that. I'm not attempting to make myself become orthorexic on this journey. I don't think it will happen, because I understand that every now and then, yeah, it's more than okay to have some chips. It's more than okay to have some fried chicken. It's more than okay to have some barbecue chicken wings. It's more than okay to have some beef. I personally wouldn't have pork, because I grew up in a Muslim household, and with that conditioning, with the conditioning of Islam, you don't have pork. So yeah, I wouldn't do that personally. Can I eat pork though? Yeah, I can. But I don't think it's worth the hassle of going against one of the main principles of Islam whilst I'm still in the house. I don't think it's worth it. It's conditioning that I'm not gonna go and get rid of at this point in time. I just think it's a lot more hassle than it's worth. I'm really not interested in. So I could just see it as a lot of shouting going on and a lot of questioning about who I am as a person in terms of religion. There's no need. They don't need to know. I'd rather not at this point in time have any religious beliefs, because I don't want myself to be held. I don't want to live in fear because of those religious beliefs by my dad, for example, saying God will punish you in that because I've acted in a way that he doesn't like. So strongly, I've acted in a way that he dislikes so strongly to the point where he's saying, oh, God will punish you. I don't think he's ever said, I'll go to hell. No, I don't remember him ever saying something like that, but I just rather not live in that fear where he says it and I believe it, and then I live in fear because of it. For him to just apologize and then think it's all okay, I'd rather just not hold myself to that. So I don't live with religious beliefs, not at this point in time anyway. That said, I certainly have interest in really researching every single religion and do my research in as unbiased a standpoint I possibly can, because there may be lessons from each religion that I could take. Not only that, but before just speaking about it now, the reason why I do this is because I believe not doing research about religion is very ignorant, because people live by these views, for one, and branching off that point, when someone says they have these sorts of beliefs, now that you've gone and read books, for example, about Islam, about Judaism, about Christianity, about Buddhism, and all the other religions that are out there, because you've done your research on these things, you can not only now understand, you can not only have a much more clear understanding of where they're coming from and how they've been raised, but it may help with understanding what their thought process in relation to how the religion is, how they've understood the religion, and therefore how they've lived their life with those views. For example, to give a brief example of this, someone may say that they have Islamic beliefs, but they smoke. However, someone may have those same, another person may also say that they have Islamic beliefs, but they don't smoke. So with understanding the religions out there, you'd be able to further understand what people are like, because you know damn well what the rules are. If you do your research enough, you could learn about every single rule that there is in every main religion. And again, I think it would be very important that I go and do this. So on my own terms, I decide, okay, I do or don't want religious beliefs because of X, Y, and Z reason. Yeah. Because I'm not going to allow myself to just live in the fear where I do have where I do say I have Muslim beliefs when I don't actually follow the rules of Islam by, for example, not praying 5 times a day. And then I therefore live in fear, thinking that I'm going to go to this place called hell simply because I didn't pray 5 times a day. Not only that, but the reason why I don't at this point in time anyway is because I also allowed myself to be influenced by one of Aberrant Preacher's videos. Abba said something along the lines of, if in order for me to go to heaven I have to pray 5 times a day, I don't want to be around that sort of entity or person. That I allowed myself to be influenced by that thought process because I was feeling some way about living my life in fear due to my dad saying, God will punish you, or maybe my mum even saying that as well. But I keep on saying my dad says this, because I remember one time when he has blurry. It's a blurry memory, but I do remember something like that. Hence, I keep on saying my dad instead of my mum, because I don't really remember my mum saying that, even though she could have, for sure. Maybe I remember those sorts of memories because back in those times when I did believe I had such beliefs, that I held more resentment to my dad than I did my mum. Potentially because he said potentially because he said, because I believed that he was trying to control my life more than mum was, maybe, in some ways, by saying, you need to do this, you need to do that, you can't do this and you can't do that. Maybe. And it could be the aspect of inferiority to him, seeing as he's physically superior to me at this point in time. But that's not going to be the case for longer. It's not going to be the case for much longer. I will do what I need to do. Just like how I said to him in one of the serious conversations that we had recently, I will do what I need to do. I'm not going to allow myself to feel fear if he's to ever... He said he wouldn't, but if he were to ever again say something along the lines of what he said a while ago, in which he was saying, it's either your fist will land on my face or the other way around. I don't want to live in fear in the house I'm living in. I don't want that for myself anymore, where I'm living in fear and I just accept that 24/7. One time when I came back home, even when there was no one there, I immediately felt an aura of hostility. I immediately sensed that there was hostility, even though there was no one in the house but me. And I don't want that. I don't want that for myself, and where I'm living in slight fear 24/7. And I can understand where the mindset of it's like all of the conversations that I have with them when I come in the house and they say, how are you? It's like, to me, they're compulsory because of that. Potentially because of that hostile environment that I sensed when I came back home one time. It was immediate. It was an immediate feeling in my sternum, or in between my pecs here. But that's for another day. There's one more topic that I want to speak about that I am going to actually release today. But before I do, I just want to make a notice of this. It made me that I actually take action towards making this video. It's the serious video called The Homicidal Thoughts of a Gangster, and I've been wanting to upload it for a while. I've been thinking about it further, just as I was eating some food, as I was eating my breakfast today that I've shown. I was thinking, these people, they really avoid stuff. And I was like, oh no, I've just got to make this video, because I know I have a lot to it. I have a lot to say. I can't remember every single thing that I'd actually add in the video, but I made many notes as to what I wanted to say in the video. For that video, I'd have to take my notepad with me. For example, if I'm doing it in the car, I'd have to take my notepad with me, because I don't remember every single note that I've made about that video. I know the main message though, as to what I'm going to say, and that's chase fulfillment, not girls or money. When you do that, the girls, the money, they'll all come. Reminds me of AMS and Primetime Hitler. They'll all come, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, for sure, if I was seeing someone, I absolutely would not want to hear that they've taken 5 dicks at once. All at the same time, no. But anyway. Yeah, I may actually do that tomorrow. It's been a long time coming, and it's a video I really do want to make. No one has to be in the gang life, you know. No one has to be. But the main reason why I'd make it is because, honestly, it's not because of the main message itself, but it's because it's been pending for a long time, and to me, it's an important video. It's I may have just contradicted myself there. I might have. I'm not sure. It's a very important video, but the main reason why I'd actually want to upload it is because it's been pending for a long time. This video, to me, is very important because I've listened to so many music videos that have talked about and that have released homicidal thoughts about shooting people, shanking people on camera backing out shanks, people throwing guns, real guns, showing them on camera. Well, I don't mean literally, but I mean showing them, holstering them and flinging it at the camera, aiming it at the camera. These are things that I've digested, and that if I was speaking to a younger me, I wouldn't want that younger me to digest those thoughts. I wouldn't want a younger me to digest those thoughts. I'd much rather want a younger me to know the dangers of digesting those thoughts, how it actually can affect that younger me, and what to do instead, plus why to do that other thing. Through saying, if you were to do this, if you were to listen, digest, and then carry on through that path in that environment, in an environment where there are gangs, you could follow that same route and produce that same content, which would mean the cycle will continue. You could go through that path where you're listening to those homicidal thoughts and those homicidal people. Or if you've already done that and you've listened, you can work through it and actually understand you don't have to do that. I really don't know. I have no idea how I'd be able to help people who don't want to be in the gang life, but are known by gangsters. It reminds me of one music artist in particular who became a gangster, who's now no longer with us. I don't know. I have no idea how I'd help that person that would be going through that at this point in time. I don't know. That would be a lot to take. That would be a lot to take on, to want to be able to help people who really want to go through the straight, clean path, who want to make slow money, who really wants to do what they truthfully want to do, like playing football or basketball, just anything other than shooting and shanking people that's legal and that they truthfully love. I don't know what I'd have to say. I haven't been through it. So I don't think that's something that I can speak on, honestly. I don't know. I really don't know. But that's the notice that I wanted to speak about over and done with. Now let's speak about this other thing, this main topic, this second main topic of this video that I want to talk about. Oh, pardon me. Okay, so in at least one previous video, I addressed that there was this one girl in school, in the science club, that would used to pinch, punch, and there was this one time that she actually threw something at me. And I was thinking, I don't want to be around that person at all. After long enough, it actually took a while for me to remember this person's name, but I remember this girl. I think I called her Adam. I also remember saying that one time I saw her with another chick who was around the same age. These two girls were like 2 years younger than me, I think. At least one of them was, the other one was. But this Adam chick, she could be 1 year younger. and then the other chick was 2 years younger. I had no problems with that other chick. The only strong memory that I have of this chick was when one time we're in the maths department and she kept on saying something like, "Oh, are you gonna do, what subjects are you doing?" Or it was either what subjects are you doing or are you doing further maths? And she keep on asking this question. You keep on asking me this question. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I thought, was that a hint? At that point in time, I was 18 and I think she was 16. So even if it was, that girl was too young. I think maybe even back then I would have felt some way dating a year 11 who's about to do their GCSEs, whereas I'm about to do my A-levels. For example, let's say you're 16. Oh, actually, I was going to say, maybe if you're, for example, say you're 16. Yeah, I'll go with this example. Say, for example, you're 16 and you're dating this girl that's 2 years younger than you and she's 14. People would feel some way about that, probably. And you may feel some way about that. Like, no, I don't want to be seen with this girl. She's a bit too young. However, if you're 28 now and this chick's 26, big fucking deal. That's cool. I mean, the girls that are at that point in time, it's probably like the girls at 28, they're getting old. I want a girl that's I want something, Jesus. I want a girl that's a bit younger. That's still physically mature. At least physically mature, but still has a bit more youth in her than someone that's 28 and that's starting to get a bit old and dry. When I was thinking, when I just said that, I was referring more to the face rather than the vagina, but I do understand that it could have been understood that way. Even though I didn't mean it that way. Yeah. That probably could be starting to dry up and get wrinkled up too. Not that I know what that looks like. I'm a virgin. That's what the sexual status is right now. Virgin and single. Ready to mingle? Nah. No, not yet. I don't think I'm ready to date. Not yet. Start talking to some girls. Yeah, cool. Absolutely. I'm in no way against that. That's for sure. And I do mean that in not only a friendship sense, but potentially if I do have an interest in a girl, yeah, I wouldn't mind talking to her in a more sexual way, on the condition that we both feel comfortable with that happening, where I'm talking in a sexual way to her and she's doing the same. I don't if that was starting to happen, I may not mind that, because sooner or later I'm gonna have to have that sort of experience recently, instead of me being a kid and a just about becoming a teenager / prepubescent. Like that dating knowledge, that's got to be updated. Not necessarily very quick, not necessarily quick time, as soon, not ASAP, not necessarily ASAP, but sooner or later it's going to have to be. And it just will. It's on its way to, because not only from a mental, but from a physical standpoint, I'm becoming more sexually attractive on average in general, because I'm taking more care of my body now. And not only that, when they see that's the case, and then they see, oh shit, mentally this guy actually has some substance, and he actually has something in between his ears. Let's see what this guy's about. I'm actually interested. Like, that is extremely much more likely to happen nowadays than it ever has been. Even though it has happened in the past, but I mean in a way that I'd want. Because during GCSE times and A-level times, yeah, during GCSE times for sure, girls let me know that they fancied me. They let me know. At least two. I want to say three, but I'm not remembering whichever one it was. Yeah, I'm thinking of two right now, but there was a third one. Yeah, I think I've got the third one. I mistook this second one for someone else. I was in my head thinking, oh yeah, it was this person, when in reality, no, it was another person. Yeah, but I don't think the third one I was thinking of counts, because that girl unironically called me a terrorist. So that one, as far as I'm concerned, I would not want to be with that. I would not want to be with that lady. And even from a, not only did she go and do that, this girl, from a physical standpoint, was not all that attractive. To think I got a Twitter to go speak to that bitch. It's not it wasn't racism. It's prejudice. It's extreme prejudice. Islam is not a race; it's a religion. So I was known to have at least believe to have those. I at least believed that I had those set of beliefs, that I had Islamic beliefs, and I let that be known. That was well known. But yeah, that chick, that does not, as far as I'm concerned, that one does not count. She unironically called me a terrorist because I was learning Arabic. The Quran has Arabic in it. It's written in Arabic. It's also written in English as well. There are translations, but I was wanting to learn Arabic for that, and I was thinking, oh, you know what? I actually may go to Saudi Arabia, and then from there, she called me a terrorist, unironically, seriously, not as a joke. And then she has the audacity when we were walking home in the same direction, she had the audacity to ask me, oh, why aren't you speaking to me anymore? Bitch! Logic. We were in the same biology class as well during A-levels. And when I entered, she was already in the science department, in one of the science departments anyway. But when I entered, she was already sitting there with one of the girls that claimed to fancy me. When I entered, she was speaking to her to the friend, and then it was like her heart skipped a beat. I could literally hear her go like, her and the friend that told me that she fancied me, or one of, was there. They were sitting on the radiator to my left, and then I was just walking straight to be able to get to the front of the line, really, because there was no one else there. I was just what would happen in order to get into the biology class, before the teacher came in, we would line up in order to get into that class. That's how things went, and that's what I was doing. And then she saw me walk in after what she said to me. The audacity of that, the audacications. In my head, I've just impulsively thought, I've been through a lot. Have I? Have I really? I have to voluntarily go through a lot more than what I have done now. I need to grow more as a person. I'm not going to just stay this way. Fuck that. So when my parents die, I just won't be stable enough to be able to feed myself. Not even my family, but myself. I won't be able to live. Not just survive, but I wouldn't be able to live my life to the fullest when they're gone. There's no way I'm just staying this way. Fuck that. There was I think I've already said it in the previous video. There was a community post saying 6 months from now, something along the lines of 6 months from now, you would have improved your situation financially, spiritually, and mentally. You'd be much improved in these three aspects. And that's going to be the case. That's going to be the case for me, for sure. Actually, I'll bump my seat up. That's going to be the case for me, for sure. Okay, cool. Well, hold up a sec. Yeah, obviously they do. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, sorry. I said no. I remember saying no more sidetracking. I've gone and allowed myself to get sidetracked. The main topic that I wanted to speak about was about that Adam chick and another situation. So I've spoken about the Adam chick. She was pinching me, punching me, and she one time threw something at me. I shouted her real name out. Of course, it was her real name, not a nickname. Actually, that's not obvious, to be fair. How would you know? I shouted her real name, and then everyone in the room heard, and then the teacher went and spoke to her. I had so much resentment towards just other people as well. I straight to her face called her a silly cunt in the library. I called her a silly cunt in the library in front of the librarian. And then, you see, the librarian, I think, in my opinion at least, would have been more inclined to let me off because I was friends with her son, who I actually went to some classes with, like, for example, maths. And before that situation, we weren't friends, no, but we were friendly enough to the point where I knew her real name, to the point where I knew her forename, her first name. So I think for that reason, for those sorts of, because of the relationship that we built beforehand, I think she would have been more inclined to let me off than if I didn't. And I was thinking, oh yeah, that wasn't fair, and I held a lot of resentment to certain people, a few, but with these few people, the resentment was fucking strong. There was this one guy, yeah, we were in the same form class, and this guy called me a nigger because I didn't follow he was white. This guy, he called me a nigger because I didn't follow him. I didn't follow him on Instagram. And I held the resentment that I gained from that for years. For years. I held that for years. Oh, how many? At least 4. I held that in. I held in my resentment that I got from that for 4 years. There was this other guy who had the audacity to call me his slave. Are you fucking mad? That was in the science class, yeah? He would have got thumped. If it was nowadays, I'm not having that. Talk about, I'm not, there's no way that he's just going to say that and then nothing happens. No way. Straight swinging. I'm straight swinging. Oh, are you mad? Are you... Oh, if ideally I practice rationality. I practice rationality and not just straight up being the aggressor. Because if I did just go straight fight mode and swing, the amount of shit that would have happened in school. If I actually was gonna fight him, school wouldn't be able to save him. School would not be able to save him. I'm telling you that now. He may think he's safe. He may have thought that he's tough. But that would not save him. School would not save him. You know, that's how I think about it from an emotional standpoint. But rationally, I'd be thinking of showing that I have more power than he does to be able to control my emotions and actually not allow myself to be affected by that sort of stuff. Instead of saying, yeah, he would have got his head cracked. He would have got his head smashed in. Maybe not cracked open, but smashed in. If he tried to keep on doing that, yeah, he might have had to hold a quick, not just one, but quite a few bangs. Thinking that he's the fucking... He actually got in fights, that guy. He got in fights one time just outside of school. He actually did. Oh, seeing him getting beat the fuck up. I don't remember who was doing it to him, but yeah, there's no way, one way or another, he's not getting away with that. He'd have to understand that shit can't run. You can't just do that. In my head, I'm just thinking, maybe this resentment I held to these sorts of events, where I experienced prejudice and racism, maybe these are events that was a part of me holding resentment, because I just wouldn't address it. I just hold it in. I couldn't fight back then. I could fight more than I could back then. I never swung a fist. Not even shadow boxing swing, as far as I'm aware anyway. I wouldn't even do shadow boxing. The most I would have ever done, and this is like so the event on which he called me his slave, that was maybe around anywhere from 13 to 16. It was certainly during GCSE times. Now, I would not go and do any sort of research about how to fight or anything like that. I was way too busy watching Vanos Gaming and the other creators that he'd work with, such as I'm Wildcat, Dai Denogla, Basically I Do Work and all of that. I just escape through these things. But now I'm not escaping. I'm actually letting them loose. But without me realizing, I could have been holding these events as resentment and deep inbuilt rage towards my parents, even though it had nothing to do with them. Maybe I was doing that without even realizing. But now that I'm talking about it, I'm allowing myself to actually release. Yeah, I'm referring to the guy that called me a nigger once outside the form class. I held resentment about that situation for at least 4 years. For at least 4 years. At least. If I were to see this guy again, I'd probably let him know why I acted the way I did towards him for years on end. Because of that one event. And I didn't bring it up. I'd swear at him. I've called him a cunt. I called him a cunt one time in the there's a small in the high school. There's a small section of computers. It was like a computer room for only sixth formers. And we were in this room. I was on one end and he was on the opposite end. So I was positioned here. He was kind of here, nearer to the end, nearer to the other door, which where the canteen was. Whereas the door I was by went outside. So yeah, I called him a straight up cunt. I said a lot more than just that. No racist remarks. No, that's not what I mean. But I did say a lot more than that, and I held a lot of anger. I held a lot of anger because of that event. You can see me even clench my fist here. Even when thinking about it, I think that says a lot of things. Not only did I sense that there was a toxic environment at home, there was also that shit that had happened from time to time that I'd never let go. I'd never let go of. They'd just be in not in the back of my head consciously, but subconsciously, it would just be there, lingering and lurking. This isn't even the main thing that I want to talk about, but from a rational perspective, that guy that called me his slave, I think that was, if anything, that was just a test to see how much he could get away with. He was that sort of person that I was thinking that he was tough. Again, white guy. Didn't really seem like he had much in his head, to be honest. And I'm not even saying that as a comeback for the fact that he called me his slave. He said it once, but that shit should not be. Ideally, in a multicultural world, those sorts of things aren't being said. In the skate park, something similar happened. I remember saying, me call him the N-word when I was looking to my left, but I heard it to my right, so I didn't see who said that. But that was just a part of me just not wanting to go to the skate park again. I don't know why my right hand was shaking a bit there but it's still, there you go. It was shaking a bit as, you say the ball of my hand maybe was resting on my kneecap. I'm going to grip my kneecap so it doesn't shake as much. It could have been because I was doing this with a lot of power. Is violence the answer? It can be. It really can be. But just like how you could give many different answers to the same question, depending on what you've gone through and how you articulate yourself, would that be the most rational and healthy answers? No. Can that happen all the time? No, but can you always give a healthy answer all the time? No, but I'd much rather, if it's a fight, I'm in a position where I'm not the aggressor. I'm not necessarily the victim, but I'm not the aggressor trying to start a fight, as I have thought of doing on an emotional level if I were in that situation again. Thinking of if I were to be in that situation again. It shows a lack of emotional control. But I don't mind that I've shown this, because me showing that lack of emotional control, like saying he'd get thumped, he'd get his face smashed in. Me saying that means I'm allowing myself to just let it go. Let that situation go, which is something that I genuinely may have not done for 7 years. I'd say maybe anywhere from 6 to 4 years. I don't think this event happened when I was 13, but yeah, genuinely anywhere from 6 to 4 years, I've now let that go. So for that reason, I don't mind that I've shown this lack of emotional control. But it's time to pack it in and understand that from a rational perspective, that's not the answer. Violence is not the answer. If someone's swinging at you, swing back. Of course, that's just a given. You, as someone that has self-respect, deserves to be able to protect yourself. You've learned how to fight. You know what you're doing. So it's only right that you use those abilities when you aren't the aggressor. Why would you allow yourself voluntarily to be a victim? To be a victim of physical assault? Why? If you can protect yourself, do what you need to do. And if there are alibis there of people who are actually telling the truth of what happened, they'll see that that was clearly self-defense. So in that aspect, violence is the answer. through self-defense. But ideally, the one thing I read on the internet that I agree with, the best fights are the fights that don't happen at all. And that certainly is not going to happen if you're the aggressor. Or it's much less likely for fights to not happen if you're the aggressor. Sure, would the person learn their lesson if you smash their head in? Yeah, of course. And it sets a precedent. But that sets a precedent of fear. Instead of people actually understanding, instead of the other person who actually said that racist comment to be seen as a fucking idiot. But then again, like, that is much more serious. But could you argue that I'm showing prejudice by saying when I'm imitating a girl, I'm flicking my hair like that? Is that prejudice? I'd say yes. It's an exaggeration, but it's not like being called a slave by a white guy, or just me being called a slave. That is much more prejudice, and in this case, racist, than just pretending and over exaggerating how girls speak by flicking the hair every sentence. If I was saying like, every girl is a whore, every girl needs to shut their mouth and go into the kitchen, every girl needs to be seen, not heard, every girl is worth absolutely nothing, no girl has a damn clue what they're talking about, girls are only here. I'm thinking of a First Man title video, women exist to make men better. If you combine all of these thoughts that I've just released, I think that's on the same level. Or if it's not, it's close, rather than just flicking the hair every sentence while you're just exaggerating and imitating a girl. Yeah, that shit wouldn't happen often, but it did happen in school. It did. I always thought maybe in primary school, when I got trapped in the shed once by the popular kids, I saw that as bullying, but I never really I never believed that I'd been bullied. I believed I'd never been bullied in upper school / high school. I'd say for sure that there were those remarks there, but I didn't acknowledge that happened. That happened. Yeah, I'd say that happened to me. I didn't go and search for them. I wasn't going and giving those remarks, like, for example, calling white guys crackers. I wasn't saying that. I wasn't bringing it to them. That just happened. Those events, me being called a slave, me being called a nigger, me unironically being called a terrorist, those things happened to me. I absolutely did not go and search for them, and I didn't go and bring it to anyone in that way at all. I had my caps. Racism, actually no, not my views of racism was absolutely twisted. There's some guys out there on the internet, black people I'm referring to in particular, who would be racist to black people, and I saw that as okay. It's not. That's just a boundary that after the skate park and hearing call him the N-word by at least one white kid, I thought I'd never be racist to a black person ever, because I wouldn't even potentially want to be in a position where someone's being racist to me. So I'm not going to go and do that to anyone, even though in the past my views say, oh yeah, it's okay to be racist to black people as a black person. No, that's not okay. I have no idea where I got that from, but I'd say now I understand. Well, at least I not necessarily understand, but believe that racism is a boundary I'll never cross. because I've been in a position where it's not only actually happened from my memory back when I was 13, but it's also potentially happened more recently last year with that skate park event. So with those things in mind, with the skate park event in mind, I say regardless of race, I'm absolutely, even though I did say the derogatory term, the racist derogatory term for white people, I would never go and be racist to a white person or any other race, including black people. I'm not going to go and do that, because again, I wouldn't even potentially want someone being racist to me. Not even potentially. I'd rather just remove myself from that situation. They could deal with whatever they have to deal with. They could deal with whatever they have to deal with by themselves. I'd just rather not be there. Which is one of the reasons why I don't go to the skate park anymore. Oh, wow, it's sweaty. It's sweaty. I'm sweaty. But it's because I'm in a hot car. It's the hot weather. I'm in the car. I'm doing this voiceover, and hence I'm not opening the door because that would reduce the audio quality. But yeah, okay. So with this bullying thing now, I'd say that I actually bullied someone in school because of my own insecurities, which is a thought that I've never thought of before. And in my mind, to get straight to the point without giving any details about the situation, I will do later on, but without doing so, and to just cut straight to the chase, because I went out there and I was doing that. Because I was doing that to someone. No, I was doing that to someone, and someone was doing that to me. But I saw what was being done to me as unfair, whereas what I was doing to that other person, I saw that as more than okay. No teacher pulled me up about it. No person that I hung out with pulled me up about it, really. There was only one time I thought what I did was unacceptable, and I apologized for that. But an apology isn't really enough. This person, wow, this person was extremely, he could articulate himself so clearly, especially for his age. This was around 16 to 18, I'd say. Or at a push, 15 to 18. When we were in the German class together, we were sitting next to each other. When I was in the English class, we were sitting next to each other. In the German class, he'd sit to my right. In the English class, he'd sit to my left. And I didn't do English and German in A levels. I did biology, chemistry, and maths. So, because he went and did English and German, we weren't in the same classes anymore. In terms of our subjects. But in A levels, we were in the same form room. But during English, when we were in English together, it was set 2. We were in set 2 English. Yeah, I'd say when reflecting on it now, I'd bully this guy. I was bullying this guy. I was bullying this guy hard. It wasn't. I remember maybe pushing him around from time to time, prodding him at him like that. For example, I was mocking him for how he spoke. Even other people in the class saying other people in the class and outside of the English class saying, "Oh yeah, he speaks very posh." He could articulate himself probably as clearly as an elderly person could. Extremely clearly, this person could. And because we couldn't do that, we'd show our insecurities by mocking him. Or at least potentially. I think I did. I think that was the main reason why I did. Because I wanted to be able to articulate myself more clearly. Because I think I did. Because I at least knew back then, or at least had thoughts back then, that I wasn't being understood in the way that I was understanding myself. And because of that insecurity, or whatever you'd want to call it, I was mocking him because he could do that. He could articulate himself like how I would want to articulate, myself back then. But now I don't have a problem with this. I was wanting to do this so much to the point where I actually started speaking like him. And my dad in particular called it eccentrics. I remember saying I have done so far the one time. Yeah. Imagine like maybe a stereotypical white guy in the, it didn't help that his hair was ginger as well. So he'd get mocked for that as well. I may have mocked him for that as well. So, why is having a ginger hair color looked down upon? Why? Anyway, yeah, I was probably mocking him for that as well. Almost certainly, seeing as I was mocking him for how he spoke, how he laughed. I'd take the piss out of him in English so consistently. So consistently, I'd take the piss out of him. And then he was like, oh, how the audacity. So I could go and do that, but then I'd see it as unfair if it's due to someone pinch me or even try to punch me. There was this little kid who was 10 years old, someone's brother there was a girl in biology, in A-level biology, that I sat next to that I've spoken about in the past. It was her brother. Her brother at the time was 10. And this kid would straight up pinch and punch me. And I called to her face directly. I let her know that I thought he was a dickhead. I remember doing that. He was not the most pleasant of children. Let's just say it like that. But I wasn't the most pleasant of people either. There was this one girl who was who I believed to be quite petty, and I believed that she was complaining quite a lot. And in my mind, I thought of her as a petty cunt. It seemed like I like to use that word a lot. It shows you can say that with a lot of resentment, that word. I don't know if this is the case, but I think maybe Americans use that less strongly than we do in the UK. But when I'd say that word, I'd say that with a lot of chest, because I meant it. And I think that was my way of being able to show resentment, especially if I pronounce the T by saying cunt. Yeah. I didn't know how to release it in a constructive way. Hence, I was thinking in this sort of way. When I was in A-levels, at the very start, when I was around 16, I set myself upon the task of having as much honesty as I possibly could be. Or just being completely honest, basically. And I've been called no filter in the past, or to have no filter. And I can understand why. Because my honesty knew no boundaries. I didn't set any boundaries. Sorry, I was just thinking about what I spoke about earlier in the video when my dad was talking to me about something that I'm not going to mention on the interwebs. I was going to say internet, but then interwebs came out, it seems. But yeah, very basically, I don't know how I saw that as unfair when I was doing that to him. Maybe it was because I just wasn't looking into myself and reflecting, wait, hold up a sec. Do I act that same way? I'm saying, oh no, I wouldn't want to be around this person. I avoided this person for months. The guy who called me a nigger as well, I also avoided him for months, but that's fair enough. He'd try and touch me up as well. No, I don't mean molest, but how can I explain this how I'm thinking of it? He'd talk sexually to me as a joke, and it seemed like that involved some touching in his eyes, and because I had no interest in allowing myself in putting myself voluntarily in a position where I'd carry on happening. Combine that with the fact that I didn't know how to fight, I just avoided him for months. And then when I was in the computer room, yeah, I called him a cunt. I pronounced the T. To just let him know. And even one of the girls that was there was like, Jesus, all right. That came from a place of resentment that I had for years. But there's no way that they were going to understand that. They didn't know me. To them, probably I was just no more than an A-level student that was revising for exams, just like how they were, but just in a different subject, or different subjects, sorry. Yeah, I've spoken about that main second topic, which is about me genuinely bullying someone because of my own insecurities. I remember one music video said, "Stop bullying, it's not nice." Saying it's not nice is not a valid enough reason for people to want to stop bullying. Even though you could think of that as true, and I'd be inclined to agree, it's just not enough. If I were to say stop bullying, it'd be because if you stop bullying and you do something like this, you make the art of transforming your life a daily habit, you can understand that you wanting to bully other people in the past, now that you've stopped doing it, came from a place of resentment, hatred, anger, insecurities, and actually you'd be able to live your life how you truthfully want to live your life instead of bullying people. That's why I'd say stop bullying. That's why that's how I'd go about it personally, because that's why I did it. That is something, as far as I'm concerned, I can talk about and that I can speak on, because I've gone and bullied myself. I'd really say I bullied that guy. And I showed resentment to other people, like Adam. I was just holding in a lot of hatred. And if I'd stopped bullying him, that would have been a part of understanding why that was the case. And when I say that, I mean like making the conscious effort to not only stop bullying him, but to try and understand why I'd want to do that in the first place. Because I eventually stopped doing the things that I did, like pinching, prodding at him. I never stopped. When we were in school together, I never stopped mocking his laugh. I never stopped mocking how he spoke due to the insecurities and wanting to articulate myself, potentially. I never stopped doing that when we were in school together and when we were in the same form room. I never stopped doing that. But if I made the conscious effort to stop and to try and understand where that came from, I would have been further on the path to be able to transform my life to a much higher level at that point in time compared to me having to do that now. I'm gonna open the car door, man. It's getting hot in here. But before I do, there's one more thing I'd like to say. It's how I feel after now letting all of that go, all of that resentment due to school events go. Usually with these sorts of things in the past, I'm trying to give an example because I've just gone and said usually. In the past, there's one, I think it was when I was talking about Joseph. Okay, we're back. So when I spoke about Joseph in the day 80 log, Oh, no, that's not the event that I'm thinking of. No, I'm thinking of the Day 82 series video. So after a few hours or so, I felt a very large burden, a very large feeling, an intense feeling of relief in my sternum. It was like a physical mass was being released from in between my pecs when I finished speaking about that. When I was just about to explain how I felt now that I've spoken about all of those events in which I experienced prejudice and wasn't showing any prejudice before that to receive that treatment, I didn't really feel anything. It could have been peace that I was experiencing, but I just felt normal. I didn't feel like there was a heavy feeling, a heavy weight in between my pecs, nor did I feel that there was a feeling of releasing in between my pecs, but I just felt normal. But when I was just speaking about it now in this clip, I felt a small feeling of release. But that's about it. Maybe if I breathe like that physical burden that I now just released can go, because that felt heavy. Right in between my pecs, that felt heavy. And it wasn't like I wasn't doing it intensely like that to feel that feeling. No, it was very slight. Well, no, it just wasn't exaggerated or extreme. But even though it wasn't extreme, I still felt that burden release as I exhaled. This is actually remembered. No, this is actually remembered. I've now remembered the time. Oh, by the way, I've spoken about the second main topic, which was me bullying, and then thinking it was unfair that I was getting similar treatment. I was getting the equivalent of what I was doing to him. Does karma exist? I don't know. After watching a Donovan Sharp video a long time ago with how he explained it, I'd say, I've forgotten his reasoning I don't remember his reasoning very vividly, but after watching that video and not questioning those beliefs, I'd be inclined to not agree. But what I would say is that if you are doing bad, if you're bullying other people, if you're bringing it to other people, that you're wanting to start something, not that I was, but I was just bullying. I genuinely think, because of my own insecurities, regardless of how little I understood that at that point in time when I was doing it, all the way up until yesterday. Yeah, I've spoken about that now. You can say I deserved it, what I got back. It wasn't because I was doing that to him, but it was just something that happened. And I can't say I didn't deserve it because of what I was doing to him so consistently and often. But then when it had happened a few times to me, it was like, how can you do that? It's so unfair. I'm never going to speak to you again. Now, don't get me wrong. If people are trying to treat you in a way that you don't like, yeah, remove yourselves from these people. That's not my point. What I am saying is, if I'm doing such behaviors that would make other people think that would cause other people to think that those same thoughts, don't be surprised when that same shit happens to you. Does karma exist? I don't know, but just don't be surprised when you get that same treatment back due to you attracting that sort of behavior because of how you're acting and what sort of person, no, what sort of ways you're living by. I was going to say what sort of person you are, but that can change. but how you're living. Don't be surprised if you get that same bad or that same harm back, or an equivalent of that harm back onto you, and you experiencing that, an equivalent of that harm that you're giving to other people. Don't be surprised, because that's what you're attracting by doing those things to other people, due to you not looking in and thinking, why am I doing this to this other person? I'm not usually like this. Why am I doing this? I don't really do this to other people. Why am I doing that? If you don't question how you live your life, then you could go down a path you don't want to go down, like being a homicidal gangster, drug dealing and chasing money. Just like how we genuinely could be taught to do in games like GTA, for example, because you're just trying to make money. Basically, you're just trying to make money and progress through the story, and you're willing to do that by any means. So you go and shoot people, you go and shoot and shank people. It's a lot more shooting than it is stabbing, but yeah, you go and shoot predominantly just to go and get that money by any means. It seems like we in real life are taught to do that by those sorts of things, or at least with a very impressionable mind of a young teenager, an older teenager, adult, but more importantly, as a prepubescent. The mind genuinely can be very impressionable, and from there, we learn that what works to get money is chasing it, when in reality, chasing fulfillment is a much more valuable option. Living your life to the fullest and letting the money come to you through your actions, and through providing services that people like enough that they want to buy, and through being a mentally stable enough person and sexually attractive person for the girls to want to come to you, in the case of a heterosexual male, which is me. I've actually questioned my beliefs about my heterosexuality at one time, about trying to have gay thoughts. And someone tried, a man entering my asshole, and I thought, no, that is just so disgusting. That thought, that just does not sit well with me, and that's how I knew. Oh, straight. Yeah. I'd say actually from time to time, it actually is very healthy to question your own thoughts. For example, like if you're in school and you're bullying, and you know that you're treating someone in a way you wouldn't want to be treated, I'd really advise you to question yourself. Do you have to? No. But don't be surprised when people do the same back to you, or an equivalent of that back to you. Don't be surprised. And don't be surprised that if you don't challenge your beliefs and your way of life, that you will. Don't be surprised if you carry on going that way, in a way you don't want. Don't be surprised. How has it been 8 minutes on this clip already? It's genuinely almost been 9. 8 minutes 50 right now on this clip. I didn't actually think I'd release that thought, that I actually questioned my sexual orientation, but I did one time. I wonder where that came from. Maybe watching a Logan Paul video where he was pretending that he was homosexual. I wasn't thinking, oh yeah, I want to do that too. But I did question my sexuality, but no, sexuality is certainly heterosexual for sure. I'd much rather, thinking about having sex and slipping my dick into some vagina, even without any girls in the room, and it's just me in my bed, regardless of if I'm going to sleep or if I've woken up and I'm just staying in bed, that, although I'd be inclined to think it's a crippling thought, even though I'd be inclined to think that that's a crippling thought, mentally, I could get erect off that, but I can't get erect of thinking of one guy sticking it in my arsehole. No, I just can't. I won't. I remember one of my sisters one time saying that your sexuality is to do with your genetics. I don't know about that one. Is that true to an extent? I have no idea, but that's up for debate. I feel nothing really. I did just feel a slight feeling in my sternum in between my pecs, but I don't think that was because of out of fear or anything like that. It's just me just existing. I really don't think there's anything else really to say. But I'd like to end it off with this. Please question, regardless of whether you're actually bullying people or not, please question how you go about life. And you may think, why am I doing this? Why am I going about it in this way? Which I might do when I go and question what I'm doing, like how I'm going about things. Please do, because doing so genuinely could be a part of making the art of transforming your life a daily habit, and that being something that allows you to take your life to the next level and level up. Like how the roommates would say, it's time to level up, get on your purpose, get on your grind, get on your grind, get on your grind, get on your grind, get on your grind. I'm mocking that mantra, not them, not the channel. I don't really know what their channel is about anymore, to be honest. It's about self-improvement, but me, I've got my own shit, so I don't need to go there, go watch. I'd rather go outside than go watch one of their videos. Not because I have anything against them personally, but I just rather do that regardless of who it is. Don't care if it's Kevin Samuels, don't care if it's First Man, don't care. These guys don't know me, and even if they watch this a video like this, they wouldn't give a toss either. I'm just a number. I'm just a statistic, a returning viewer or a new viewer. To them, as far as I'm concerned, that's all I am. I'm not a human being. I'm not an individual. So they could go do whatever they're doing and display their thoughts. But for me, even though I do see, I'd actually say that I see YouTube viewers and analytics the same way, because I don't get many comments, so I can't actually really see people as individuals at this point in time. Not because I don't want to, but because people wouldn't, at least in the past anyway, people wouldn't comment. I get that this channel gets the odd comment from every now and then, but now, because of my efforts, they're starting to compound, and I'm now going to actually be able to see commenters more as individuals, and therefore people who are viewing more. Therefore, I'll be able to see more people who are viewing the content as individuals rather than just a number, because they're actually showing their interest some way, somehow. Even if they dislike it, they're showing something. So actually, just seeing people as in this case as a creator, I'd say it's understandable if you do that. But anyway, I think that's the end of the video. I just say, please question how you go about your life. Please question what you're doing. Even if, regardless of whether you're bullying people, regardless if whether you're bullying people in school or you're just complaining a lot, please, or even if you are doing those things, even if you're in shape and you think you're loving life, please just question how you're going about things, at least every now and then. I was just thinking, I just had an impulsive thought of having a jam sandwich, but I could question that and think, do I rationally want to have that jam sandwich? No. Why? Because it's very low protein, which means that it won't fill me even if I were to eat it. Not only that, but it's extremely high in carbs. What does that mean? I'll put on a big belly if I keep on eating like that. So I'm going to eat something that's healthier for me, something that's more high carb, something that's more less processed, like fish, like meat, like broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus. I'd be much more inclined to eat those things because they align with my values of eating high protein, low carbs, and somewhat low fats too. But anyway, yeah, that's me done. I might actually have to go question how I'm going about life. But I'm gonna at least think about, I need to get some food. I'm feeling hungry. Whew, yeah, I'm done. On that note, please just make the art of transforming your life a daily habit through videos like these, for example, and trust me, your life will transform. Maybe not in exactly the way that you think. Progress, remember, is not linear, and I'm starting to experience that. I believed it in the past because I wouldn't question what I'd see on the internet when people would talk about progress is not linear. And I'd sometimes actually type that up to give that burst of hope that I am going to progress in my life. But from personal experience, even right now, I can understand that I really believe that that's the case. For example, eating more healthily, I'm tracking the meals here. I'm showing what's going on with my eating, with my healthy eating. And because of that, I put cold showers on the back burner until eating healthily has become automatic, and me not watching YouTube has become automatic. Me instead wanting to go outside a lot more, me wanting to feel the nature, the soil, the grass beneath me, until that started to become automatic. I do like it, but I've only done it yesterday, so I wouldn't say it's quite yet automatic. I'd have to consciously think of doing that before I go and do it. I certainly do enjoy that though, that's for sure. And I experienced a feeling of readiness that I want to do the things that I set myself to do on the laptop. I point here. Any random place matters. Any random place, or was it random? Anyway, yeah, please just make the art of transforming your life a daily habit and be on the self-improvement movement. If you want to be in self-improvement, that's up to you at the end of the day. And if you want to, fair enough. For whatever reasons you have, I don't know. I don't know you like that. I don't know you. But for me, what's worked is not self-improvement. It's self-improvement, and making a channel like this. Or no, not a channel like this. Making this channel is what's allowing me to transform my life bit by bit and piece by piece. You're going to see it 6 months. My physique is going to be looking absolutely crazy. That'll be October. But my body, oh my gosh. I was saying in one of the videos I made private, 1 year from now, on the Halloween this year, my body's going to be looking amazing. And I'm telling you, with the way how I'm going about things, me tracking the meals and putting them on the internet, that is going to happen. It's not even a matter of if, it's just when now. It's a prophecy, because it basically is a prophecy now. It's not a matter of if, because I'm working towards that every day. As far as I'm concerned now, yeah, it's a prophecy. I have to keep on saying, it seems like I have to keep on saying it, because I now believe that. I now genuinely believe that me being in shape, not even looking like the biggest of guys, I'm not even saying that, but my six-pack being shredded to fuck, showing so much, that's a prophecy as far as I'm concerned, because I'm working towards it every single day. I've set it upon myself to track at least one fucking ingredient, at least one meal ingredient every day. And because of this, and there's no backing out, I'm now further on the path to that. Becoming a reality. It's only a matter of time when it does. But yeah, if you make the art of transforming your life a daily habit, trust me, bit by bit and piece by piece, it will transform. Especially if you give yourself an outlet to be able to record, upload videos like YouTube, for example. It will happen, trust me. But that's me signing out, Mr. A Planking Journey, aka Monsieur. No real name yet. I'll be earning money. If I say my real name, that means I'm earning money off this. Speaking of, I actually am further on the way to earning money off this, because I've fulfilled one of the criteria of the YouTube monetization process. There are 4 criteria. You got to have 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time in total. You've got to fulfill the 2-step verification process, and Oh, what is it? He's got something else. Oh, no active strikes on the channel, and I've fulfilled one of them. But that's me signing out. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Please take care of yourselves. By making the art of transforming your life a daily habit, and trust me, your mindset to things will change. How you go about life will change. You physically will change. Not only just your brain, how your brain works, but your physical body will also change. The brain is also physical, but I mean what you can see. You can't see the brain, obviously, unless you're looking at a cadaver, a dead human brain. A cadaver, as far as I'm aware, it's a anatomy term for dead body. But that, yeah, if you were seeing the brain of a cadaver, then maybe. But for people that are alive, you can't see the brain. Obviously, it's right up in this head top, but you can't see it. But yeah, please make the art of transforming your life a daily habit and upload it somewhere. Allow yourself to work through fears that you that are on your mind and things that you want to achieve, regardless of how little or how large. In your opinion, please put something out there every day for your own sake. I can't decide whether you do or don't. I can't decide whether you do, but I know it's working for me. So that's what I want to advise, due to having personal experience, that the shit's working through for me for countless, due to experiencing countless mindset changes. Just like the one that I experienced when I was talking about me bullying and me not understanding how I considered me getting similar treatment was unfair. Me working through the resentment that I had gained due to prejudice that I experienced in school. I've never told my family that, not once, never. I've never told my family that, so I think it makes less sense to them than it does me as to where my resentment came from. I think without now I've had the mindset change without me even realizing I could have been releasing that resentment that I had from those experiences in school, me not saying anything about it onto my family, like my parents, and potentially even my sisters as well, and maybe even myself. Even though when the guy said that I'm his slave, the teacher told him off for it, and I think my form tutor may have told off the guy. I don't think so. Maybe not. May have told off the guy for calling me a nigger outside the form room in year 9. I don't know, but I do know those are just some examples for today of how my mindset's changed. And I can now that I've worked through it and worked through that resentment that I had of thinking if I got called a slave again, I'd hit him, I'd fucking smash his head in. Now that I've worked through that and I've now been able to pack it in and think more rationally and thinking, you know what, I'd much rather remove myself from that situation, because there's no need for me to stoop down to that level and to release such negative energy out there. There's no need for me to do that. I have enough self-respect to be able to just remove myself from these people rather than stoop to that level and actually respond back to them in a way that they'd find entertaining because of their own insecurities. I have no idea what that guy was going through in his life, but it didn't seem like he was enjoying life as much as other people were. But anyway, yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed and learned something valuable. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.